Welcome to the Learn to Mix stream with Pioneer. I'm ROCKETMAN, and I'll be your host today as we go over the DDJ FLX6. A brief overview, it's a board for a hobbyist that really has gotten into DJing, needs 4 decks, and also some merge effects knobs. We'll get into all that as we go through this tutorial. But let me bring Ryan on from Pioneer. And Ryan, welcome to the show. Great to have you.
Hey, ROCKETMAN, how's it going, man? Thank you guys so much for having us over here at Pioneer DJ.
It is great to have you. Thanks for sending us this board. Cannot wait to show everybody watching at home how it works. So, few things that we're going to go over today. We're going to be going over the pad section, the merge effects knob, the 4 decks, and the big jog wheels. I think that's probably my favorite part of the board personally. They're the same size as real CDJs, and you can't get much better than that. So, going right into it, Ryan, is there anything you want to say before I start diving into the board?
Man, we're just looking forward to seeing what you can do with it. We're excited to see an eclectic mix of, some different genres, and you just do what you do best, man.
Perfect. Well, I will talk to you in a bit. I'm going to get this headphone out of my ear, and we're going to start the set.
Sounds good. Enjoy.
Thank you. All right, so the first thing that we're looking at on this board is the 4-deck capability. I absolutely love it because I can play a lot of tracks back to back very quickly, and that's what we're going to start off doing. So let's jump right into it with some Pixel Tear. So yeah, those are some fun things that you can do with the 4 decks. There's only 2 platters, but 4 decks on it. Absolutely love that capability. Next up, what we're really going to be diving into is the beat jumping and the beat loop pad modes. That's how I get from all different parts of tracks when I want to have build up 1 and drop 2, or different parts of songs that feed together. So next up, I'm going to use pad modes to get to the drop of 1 song into a different part of another. You'll see it all happen, and let's get back into the mix.
Drinking by and all I think about is when we were in school. Flipping off police, drinking beers underage in a swimming pool. But times have changed and we're old now. I think our heat's getting cold now. And now I'm just in love with your cold shoulder.
Cause we fight and then we make love. We break up and then we 2 o'clock and now we're day drunk. Love it when we hate fuck. Nobody can change us. Love it when we hate fuck. Nobody can change us. Love it when we hate fuck. Nobody can change us. Cause we fight and then we make love. We break up and then we 2 o'clock and now we're day drunk. Love it when we hate fuck. Nobody can change us. When we dance and then we fall on. Keep the speed and then we slow down. 2 o'clock and now we're day drunk. Love it when we hate fuck. Nobody can change us.
Y'all are enjoying the set so far. That was a bit of look at how to run the beat jump and beat looping portions of the board. Next up, and probably the toughest part for me, I don't fully understand it yet, we're gonna do it anyways, is these big merge effects knobs in the top. I think you can see them in the corners here, but they're, oh yeah, beautiful. You're gonna be able to have a lot of fun with those. You can customize them. We'll go over how to customize them at the end of this, but just be on the lookout for how to use those, and I'm gonna show you in just a minute. So let's get back to the music. so after we get past this drop, just because it's so good, I'm going to show you guys some of the pad effects modes that you can do, because they're all just easily triggerable. I can't even talk today. And from there, I'm going to be able to show you like different reverb, echo effects. You're going to make it sound like you're in a car stereo. It's really neat if you just want to pull some energy back for a second and throw it right back in. We'll do this right after this drop. This is Coven with Your Pain. So, Patrick, you want to switch to the board for just a second? Yeah, so we got like little pads here, right? And I'll show you on Recordbox DJ after the end of this. But all these pads do different effects, and now I'm going to show you what that sounds like. So in case you guys didn't know, this song with Slippy and London Thor just came out today. Brand new Slippy EP. I love it. I've been listening to it for the past month nonstop. Check it out. And yeah, this is the lead track. Hope y'all enjoy it.
The pressure's closing in. I don't wanna be alone. If the world stopped turning and the night won't end, something has to burn to start again. If it breaks our hearts and everything seems gone, even through an endless night, there
your heart wants to die. All of the pieces that made us are trying to keep us from makeups. You've heard things you can't ignore. Whispers from the outside drown your thoughts. You gon' believe that? Where were they when you were flawed? Waiting for me to fall overboard. You only
All right, so now we need to go from 152 BPM, which is that Slippy track that we just played. We got to get into 100 to play the new Stonebank track because I know everybody wants to hear it. It comes out soon and whatever, so we're going to do that. But how do we do it without merge effects? Long story short, you don't. And so we're going to use merge effects to get into that. Let's hear what that sounds like.
well, if they are after one thing.
We'll explain how that all works later, but essentially you can go from any BPM you want, program your all effects so that you can make it sound however you want, make it your own DJ set, and go anywhere you want in the set, whether that's key, BPM range, whatever, doesn't matter. Merge Effects allows you to do it. Let's get back to the mix. This is Stonebank with Strength Unknown. Comes out soon. Enjoy.
Tell me I can count on you. Promise me you'll get me through. Just tell me I can do this too. For everything we fight to never lose. 'Cause everything we want, oh, is everything we need. Just like I need you. Oh, it's just like you need me. Oh,
You never stop calling me crazy, but you the one that's fucking crazy. And it's time for me to run. Yeah, it's time for me to go. I won't stick around for you. For you to play, oh. So sick of searching when nothing's for certain, but it's worth.
Like I said, I can't resist this this Slippy album or EP. The EP. It's called an EP. This is another one that's called Searching. Primo.
Tell me, do you feel it now? After everything we've been through, still I need you. Never find someone like
So that almost brings us to the end of the set. One last track for you. This is an unreleased remix from me for Nonsense is Better. And hope you all enjoyed it. As soon as that song ends, we're going right into a Q&A session with Ryan and myself. So any questions that you guys had during the set, we will cover those. You can ask more, and we'll go over it. Hopefully you all learned something today. And yeah, let's hear this remix.
I've been breaking ice and you've been breaking records. I've been waking up, dreaming everything we do. We do. I've been on the run and you're the one that saves me. Love is overdone, you know how to break me in two. Dancing in the dark, clouds under the stars. I'll give you the keys to steal my heart. I just wanna know you, I just wanna know you, I just wanna know you better. Diamonds on your face, can you leave a trace?
So yeah, that's the remix. That's the set for today. I hope you all enjoyed it. And we're not going anywhere just yet. Now we're bringing back on Ryan. Ryan, you there with us?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
How's
there
it
he
going?
is.
Can you hear me okay?
We can hear you just fine.
Awesome.
So what'd you think?
Dude. Big round of applause, man. That was huge. Let's see some emojis in the chat. That was a great set. I really enjoyed it. Honestly, dude, I was vibing the whole time. I could tell all the camera guys were vibing as well. I can't floss, but I
Keegan can.
I was nodding my head. Yeah. Yeah, man, that was great. I think you did a great job showcasing the Flex 6 and showing the audience here how versatile it is of a controller and how you can really party rock with it.
Fantastic. That's what I like to hear. All right, so we're now in the Q&A section. What are some highlight questions that you want to go over today?
Sure. Well, first I'll do a little intro, just to people who may not know me. My name's Ryan Roth. I'm the marketing strategist here at Pioneer DJ USA, and so we've been kind of we're really excited to be here with Monstercat and kind of talk a little bit more about the Flex 6 and go into details. So if anyone does have any questions in the chat on any specific techniques or anything that you guys saw ROCKETMAN doing, feel free to drop them in the chat and we'll try to get to them. But in general, I think it would be great to first, start off talking about how you got started with Monstercat and maybe give us a little bit more into your background on the remix competition.
Yeah, absolutely. So back in 2016, I entered the Monstercat Mix Contest. Had no clue that I would be selected. I was one of the 8, ended up winning the whole thing. And from there, I just kept in contact with Dan and a lot of the other DJs that I had participated with. And ended up a few years ago, right when I was about to graduate college, got a contractorship with Monstercat, and that is where I am here today. A few months ago, went full time, so I'm enjoying it.
Hey, congrats, man! That's awesome.
Thank you very much.
So true or false? Did Elton John inspire the name ROCKETMAN?
False, actually. Unfortunately, false. I realized it like 2 years after I already had the name that Elton John had a song called ROCKETMAN. I made it back in high school. I was a dumb kid.
I like it. Maybe a ROCKETMAN remix.
That would be neat. Help me find the stems.
Yeah, of course. I'll do my best. That last remix was good, man. That was awesome, by the way.
Thank you.
I was vibing to that. So we can kind of dive in a little bit to kind of some more technical stuff. I guess the first question we got here was from a guy named Beatplant over here on Twitch. So shout out Beatplant. And this is sort of more of a question related to DJing with and without headphones. So just a quick question. Are you currently not listening to the other track while lining them up, or are you doing it visually? So I guess the question kind of gets to, are you going to be using, cue sometimes, or using the visual cues? What's your strategy there?
Yeah, so I'm real bad at mixing without headphones. I use visual a lot, but I also have my booth routing in with what I would hear through headphones. So I hear everything through the booth, which is the speakers right behind me. Beautiful white new speakers from Pioneer. And yeah, so that's how I do it. So I am queuing them up by hearing them, but mainly I've already beat grid them in Rekordbox, and so I can just line everything up and call it a day there.
Sure. So there's a little bit of audio and visual cues going on then.
Exactly.
Yeah, and for those of you out there in the chat who may be new to DJing, cue is when you hit the cue button on the actual unit itself, you can hear what song is being played, even with the volume fader down. So you can hear that in your headphones, sort of as a preview, kind of the audience doesn't hear it, but you can hear it, so that you know if it's going to mesh well.
We can show that on screen if you'd like.
Sure. Yeah.
Patrick, do you want to switch over to Rekordbox? All right, so on screen right now, you'll see a little Rekordbox window, and in the top we have, I'm actually turning up the volume a bit, but when we have cue, I can play, and you can hear what's playing, and that also helps you get in on your transitions, as you can just hit cue a few times, hit play, and then you're in time. So yeah,
right, and there's
the
there's the cue and play, which is the cue button, and then there's also the headphone cue, which is a separate cue. Yeah.
Patrick, do you want to go top down? We can show that. There we go. So above your 4 mixer channels, we have the cue buttons, and then the part that I always forget is hitting your cue up here so you can hear what's coming through your master. So those are your 4 cue buttons. Anything that's lit up with cue will go into your headphones.
Right. Exactly. So, how about you kind of go into a little bit of detail on what your favorite features are on the Flex 6?
All right. So like I said at the beginning, my favorite part is the 4 decks without actually having 4 physical decks. It makes it so that you can bring this controller anywhere you want, whether that's a house party or you can bring it to the club if you got your first set or something. But you can still have the capability of switching between decks and mixing on the fly, mixing real quick. And you can't do that with just 2-deck controllers. So that's probably my favorite part. I also love the pad modes. I use them all the time because I use varying beat loops, whether that's 8 bars, 16, 4, sometimes even 1 if that's how I want to get the track mixed in. And so being able to just click the buttons and know that it's going to be those different beat loops is absolutely incredible.
Yeah, okay, so the 4-channel is awesome. That's especially useful for people who may have a controller like the DDJ 200 or the DDJ 400, which is only 2-channel, but they want to upgrade and really bring their performance to the next level with the 4 extra channels. You can do something like dual deck mode, where you can actually control 2 decks with the jog, or you can get really creative by throwing different acapellas, on top of it, and mixing all 4 tracks at once, in 4-deck mode, which is
something I love is grabbing
cool.
acapellas and making mashups on the fly with those, and you can't do that with just 2 decks.
Right, exactly. And I feel like a lot of people who really want to start getting a little more into challenging themselves and diving into the live mashups will really like the Flex 6.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so you kind of touched on the pad effects a little bit, and so maybe we can show the everyone in the chat kind of what's going on the Rekordbox screen and how you program your pad effects, and then kind of dive into how you program your merge effects as well.
You gotta go outside?
We can definitely do that.
All right, let's go.
All right, Patrick,
Awesome.
You want to switch over to Rekordbox? Just a second. There we go. All right, so I'm going to switch back over to Omega. We're just going to go through the drop. And this might be a little loud, so I'm going to turn it down. But you're here in the drop, and when I hit the pad effects mode, you'll see in this part, and hopefully my cursor, you're able to see it, we have along the top row, roll, sweep, flanger, V-break, echo, another echo, just with different beats, a reverb, and another echo, which I just haven't played around with. But the beauty is I can just press a roll right on the drop, and now it'll just loop that, and then it'll go back. It'll slip back into where it would be if you hadn't pressed the button. Same thing with our sweep. It's gonna sound kind of like you're in a car stereo, but it's also nice if you want to talk over it for a second. You're not gonna get the big bass sounds. We've got our flanger, which I like playing around with. It just adds a little bit of texture to the set. We have our V-break, which just drops it out, and then you can release it and comes right back in. Echo. It's a bit harder if I don't stop it, but let's see. So you can hear that echo, and then another one at a quarter. It's just a nice reverb and delay effect put together. Now you just have your bass reverb. If I cut the music, it stays there. It's nice ambience. It's great. I love using reverb for transitions. And then that's what you can do, but you can also customize them to whatever you want. You have whatever settings you want to put on the roll. Let's say the sweep, right now that one's at 80. I could turn that down to a 60% and have that press on a different button. So that's what I like about the pad effects.
Very cool. Yeah, I think that the really exciting part about the pad effects is how customizable you can get, and how you can really go in and change, some pad effects to being release effects where, you just press it once, and, you can then transition to another song really fast. or, switching out like the reverb so that it's automatically at only 20%.
Exactly.
Or at 80%, and you get a huge wash, but sometimes you don't want, too much of an effect going on, just a little flare.
For sure. And that's the beauty, like you can mix the pad effects knobs with your normal knob that you would have on your decks and really intertwine them and find what works best for you.
Right, exactly. And actually, then that kind of brings us a little bit to some of the more unique effects on the Flex 6, which would be the merge effects, which is actually brand new. First time we've added that, crazy big knob on each side, which might be scary at first to some people who see that and say, oh no, like I'm not familiar with this. What is this?
That's what I thought.
So let me, but it's not scary, I promise.
No.
Let me know what is your settings then within Rekordbox for your merge effects? What have you kind of dabbled with?
So Patrick, you want to switch back over to Rekordbox again? We're just gonna keep going back and forth all day. So here are my merge effects settings. I made a space drop, but edited it so I liked it a bit more. If you listen to the transitions during Call of the Wild, you're gonna hear something that's very similar to this, but just toned down. And so I replicated that to use for the live set, where we have a space down. It kind of takes an echo, but also low pass on it. And then I really like the boom down lifter. It's just like an impact that is, all right, the track's done, next one's coming in. And I absolutely love that. But then with others, you can customize this with so many different possibilities. And so as you're DJing, you can find different elements that work well for you in your style of music and play around with it. I mean, to be honest, you could go from Latin jazz to dubstep if you use a merge effects knob right.
Right, and I think the key is using it tastefully, right? I mean, it can be a very big effect, and it is. It's supposed to be a monumentous experience, when you're going around the horn, switching from that, like you just did, 152 BPM to 100 BPM, and really bringing it back, maybe turning the dance floor a little bit, and slowing down the vibe on purpose, And so with the merge effects, our kind of idea was, there are 4 sections in there that you can customize, and all you do is you press it once to initiate it, and then the dry wet is just twisting it left and right, or you could kind of bring it back by twisting it to the left again, and then of course when you hit it again, you turn it off, and actually there's a really fun way to use the merge effects as just an effect and not a transitional effect. Mm-hmm. If you hold shift and also press the button for the second time, you can use it during a transition, and the song will still keep playing.
Which is great if you want to just like build a lot of energy and then bring it right back into the song.
Yeah, 100%. And actually, a fun fact, you can also bring in your own vocal samples or your own DJ drops into that 4th category. So there's a place that you can drop your vocal sample or whatever into it. So, let's say you wanted to, put whatever call out you've got for ROCKETMAN. You could, DJ ROCKETMAN, and it would say that after you, after you play it.
I mean, I know
Cool.
Dan would like this. We could also use That's a Bad Kitty. It's the little DJ sample.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, you could use anything. So we talked about a little bit about the pad effects. We talked a little bit about the merge effects. What else were you sort of finding that you gravitated to? I noticed that maybe we can kind of cover the EQ section. It's very basic, but real quick, just for people who may not understand, what those channels are.
Absolutely. Patrick, if you could go to the board. Perfect. All right. And I might have adjusted this. But you have each deck laid out in vertical lines. And so it's just that little grouping and then copied over. The beauty of it is you have your low pass and your high pass filter. You have a low knob, mid knob, high, and then the trim. So let's say a track isn't as loud as some of the others that you're playing. You can turn up the trim and now it's louder and at the same volume as everything else. You also have your volume faders. And then finally you have your crossfader, which goes back and forth. 2 and 4 are on the right side of the fader. 1 and 3 are on the left side of the fader. And correct me if I'm wrong, but you can adjust that in Rekordbox, correct?
Yeah, with Rekordbox, you are able to do that.
Yeah, so I don't
know about Serato, it might be fixed, but with Rekordbox, I believe you can.
Yeah, so if you really wanted to, you could have track 3 playing on the left side, 1, 2, and 4 all on the right, with like 2 acapellas that you're running and an instrumental. And you can play it that way if you so chose. So that's the breakdown of the EQ. Most controllers are going to have this, but also it's important to note that the filter knob, that isn't always there, which I appreciate. I use low pass way too much.
Sure, I did notice you using the filter in a couple transitions, and so I guess that's a popular transition method for you then.
Very much so. I love going low pass out, reverb, and just letting it stay.
And for those of you guys who may not know what low pass means, basically it just means that it's letting the low end frequencies through only. So you're cutting all the vocals and all the instrumental stuff out, and you're going to be bringing those out slowly as the filter closes. It becomes more of just the low pass rumble, and then you can mix in your other track or however you want to do it.
It's a different way to volume fade.
Right. Yeah. More of a musical
for sure
way, I suppose. And so I guess a couple more things to cover on the unit would be kind of those pad modes.
Yeah.
If you want to maybe transition back to the Flex 6, we can kind of talk about those really quick too.
We're here. All right, so what do you want to go over on these?
Cool. So just kind of walking through, for people who might see it and think it's scary, and I'm not sure what everything does. There's the hot cue section on the pad modes, and that is kind of just to explain. That's where you put your cues where you may want to start mixing in your track. So that's the initial setting right there. The initial section is the hot cue section. So what would you use that for example?
So I have a very specific system that I use my hotkeys with. My top left button is always the starting point of the song on the downbeat. Mm-hmm. The next one over is the first build up, and then each after that are the 1 or 2 drops or 3 drops, and then the last button is where I would mix out. And so I can see those all up on the software, but I can also run to them at any point if I want to cue it.
Great. Okay, so you actually have a system then that you break down for every single song. So if you're going to press hot cue number 2 or 3, that's going to be the second build up or the second drop or
exactly
what have you. Right. And so pad effects being the second one, we kind of covered that a little bit. But have you really dived into using some of the secondary effects, keyboard, key shift, beat loop?
I personally don't use key shift that much. I did when I was first starting off, but now that I've gotten into the realm of mixing Call of the Wild, we don't ever key shift the songs in that. So when I'm building a set, I don't even think about it.
Right.
But it is nice because if I was to hit shift and hit key shift, now I can adjust up or down three semitones, which is fantastic. If I need to get from a song that's in D and bring it to C, I can adjust it.
Yeah, and that might be a very important thing, mixing in key for people who are really getting into DJing. You'll hear a lot of like melodic songs being played together, and sometimes you wonder, how do they all work well together? When you're actually preparing a DJ set or when you're playing a DJ set, a lot of times DJs, what they'll do is they'll make sure that each song is corresponding keys, relative major, relative minor, or what have you. And if that isn't the case, you can use the key shift to bring the incoming song into a key that might work with that original audio signal, so that it doesn't sound like it's clashing. It doesn't sound like it's bad. Cool. So yeah, and then the beat jump and the beat loop, those are just kind of ways to move, the beat jump to move your track around a little bit. Beat loop would be just a good way just to hit an automatic loop, or you could use the loop feature in the top left
exactly.
As well. And then a new thing as well on the Flex 6 is the sample scratch. which you saw on the S11, which also is working with Serato. So for anyone who wants to dive into DJing in general, they can use this with Rekordbox DJ, or it also comes with a free copy of Serato DJ Pro. So you could use it for either one, and all of the MIDI mapping actually works, properly with either software.
Which is great. So if you're born on Serato, you can play on that. If you're comfortable with Rekordbox, you can play on that.
Yeah, 100%. So I don't know how much time we have left, but maybe for a few more questions, or if anyone in the chat.
Yeah, I think we could go through a few more.
Okay. So maybe you want to talk a little bit about the difference between kind of studio mixing versus live mixing.
100%. And I feel like that's a good question for me.
Yeah.
So in case you guys don't know, I mix Call of the Wild each week. And then I'm also playing a live set here. One was made in my computer behind me. The other one was played on a DJ deck. So I think the main difference for me is planning. With studio mixes, I can test a lot of different tracks that I want to work into the set. Not all of them are going to work, but it's not a big deal because nobody's going to hear that version of the mix. In terms of mixing live, you don't have that ability with time. It's you have as long as the song's going to play, and you need to find a good track to mix out of by the time that track ends. And so I think that's the biggest thing for me is the time crunch.
Yeah. So it's just it's a different method then.
Exactly.
Let's see. How about I got another question here. How about any advice that you have for new and starting DJs? I'm sure that there's a fair amount of DJs out here who have been probably DJing for a very long time. Whether that's on Facebook or Twitch, or anyone who's watching right now, who this might be a little familiar for them. But for people who may not have dived into DJing yet, who may think about getting a Flex 6 or a 200 or something, what's kind of some of your advice for those guys?
So I think it's very similar when it comes to producing, but find a set by one of your favorite artists that's online and just try recreating it. Try to match up their transitions, try to see how they did different effects. And as you're diving into it and figuring out how to replicate that set, you're going to figure out how to make your own style in the DJ and play around it and make it your own set. And I think that's the most important part, is that you have a sound that comes through.
Cool. So just really essentially, finding what you like to do and what music you like to play, and just having fun and enjoying it and practicing.
Practice makes perfect. I still make mistakes, and I've been doing this for years.
Yeah. I think any DJ will say that we're always the most critical of our own sets, right?
Absolutely.
Be like, oh yeah, I messed up that third transition, and people will be like, no, it sounded great.
I'll say that to these guys all the time, and they're just like, nah, I didn't hear anything.
Yeah, no idea. But that means you killed it. You killed it. Honestly, I heard no issues myself. So
Oh, well, then we're gonna pretend like there were no issues.
Yeah, that's fair. I had a quick question from someone on Facebook actually. Lloyd Richards was asking if you can use the Flex 6 with DVS with turntables, and the answer with that is no, you can't. Unfortunately, there's no audio inputs to the computer, so you can't actually plug the turntables into the Flex 6. But we do have units that you can do that with. I believe the XZ would be a good example of something you can use DVS with. So that's a bit more expensive, or you could get a DJ mixer such as the DJM S3, which is a lower price point as well. Josh, is there anything that you specifically wanted to talk about or cover related to your set, or any questions that you saw come through on the chat?
I didn't see any that we haven't covered yet. But if you guys have questions after this, when you're watching this later on Twitch or whatever, feel free to message me. All socials are ROCKETMAN Wubs, and I'll be happy to answer your questions.
Yeah, awesome. Well, here's one. We were talking about this earlier, but are you going to be the first DJ to do a DJ set on the moon?
Maybe. I would very much like to do that. I will immediately sign up. Elon Musk, if you're watching, send me to the moon.
Yeah, big shout out Elon Musk. He'll be the one to do it.
Exactly. Exactly. Perfect. Well, Ryan,
cool, man. Yeah, I think we've just about covered most of it here. In general, if anyone has any questions, you guys can always feel free to message us on Facebook. We have a great great group of product specialists who are here to answer all your questions as well. You can reach out to ROCKETMAN. I'm sure he'd be happy to answer any questions about his set or give you any track IDs or any tips or anything like that. And yeah, if anyone's looking to grab a unit, the DDJ Flex 6 is a great starter unit for live streaming with, or for just learning how to DJ, or even leveling up to the next level. So It's a good all-around controller.
Well, thank you for joining me today, Ryan. I had a blast playing on this controller. And
yeah, awesome, man. Thank you for playing.
Next week, right?
I believe so. Yeah. I think it's is it next Monday, same time?
Next Monday, same time. So if you guys like today, be sure to come back next Monday.
And come with some questions, take notes. Yes. We may have a pop quiz. We don't know.
This isn't school.
No, it's not school. We're having fun.
Very good time. Well, Ryan, cool. I will let you go. I will talk to you in just a minute. But Patrick, do you just want to switch back to the main cam? Thank you so much for joining. It was great to have you.
Thanks, Josh. Appreciate it, man.
And yeah, so that brings us to the end of today's session. Thank you all so much for watching. I really enjoyed playing the set. Hope you all got your questions answered that you wanted. Quick shout out to the crew. We got Patrick, Keegan, and Parker that made all the camera possible. They're all sitting around here. Can't do it without them. Thank you to Dan and Paige back at Monster Cat, and JP and Ryan at Pioneer. So until next time, and next time is Monday. Better be here Monday. I want to see you on Monday. This is ROCKETMAN signing off. See ya.